Christianity is facing an existential threat in Nigeria. Thousands and thousands of Christians are being killed. Radical Islamists are responsible for this mass slaughter. I am hereby making Nigeria a country of particular concern. That's a legal definition. When the Christians or any such group is slaughtered, like is happening in Nigeria, 3,100 versus 4,476 worldwide. What horrible numbers. Something has to be done. I am asking Congressman Riley Moore, together with Chairman Tom Cole and the House Appropriations Committee, to immediately look into this matter and to report back to me. And I mean, like, immediately. We're going to do things to Nigeria that Nigeria is not going to be happy about and may very well go into that now disgraced country, guns a-blazing, to completely wipe out the Islamic terrorists who are committing these horrible, horrible atrocities. I'm hereby instructing our Department of War to prepare for possible action. If we attack, it will be fast, vicious, and sweet, just like the terrorist thugs attack our cherished Christians. The United States cannot stand by while such atrocities are happening in Nigeria and numerous other countries. It's not only Nigeria, it's all over. We stand ready, willing, and able to save our great Christian population around the world. This is not going to happen. The killing of Christians is not going to happen.
All right, guys. So a lot has been happening ever since that particular pronouncement or that particular statement from the U.S. president, the person of Donald Trump. All right. He's now making it the second time he's actually talking about the plans of which they have for this terrorist in Nigeria. And this time, if you listen to him very well, you'll find out he made a statement there saying that what they will do, that the country, Nigeria, will not be happy with it. That is to say that if these guys are definitely going to come, there are some of the things that they are going to do that will, in one way or the other, affect the government. So I want you guys to pay attention to also what was discussed in this regard and what the Nigerians actually think. Also, there's a lot of sayings that if these guys are definitely going to come to clear or maybe wipe out the entire, just like the same statement he made, that how are you sure that these things are also going to affect some Christians in that regard?
Even misleading portrayals of Nigeria's security challenges. Idris emphasized that while the administration recognizes insecurity has affected many communities, there is no evidence supporting claims of systematic targeting of any religious groups. Let's take a look.
We can say that, for example, Nigerian government has been able to have a correlation between some of these lobbies operating especially in the United States of America and the activities here. We have seen, and it's matter of public record. If you go to the records of the United States, there is what is called the Foreign Agents Registration Act. It is clear there. You have seen that some of the influencers of these criminal activities have direct relationship with lobbyists in the US who have direct relationship with some of the people who are shouting about this issue outside this country.
Well, guys, this federal government's allegation of foreign lobbying adds, another dimension to the genocide debate. He's suggesting that, external interests may be manipulating Nigeria's internal security narrative for undisclosed purposes. In the same vein, senior advocate of Nigeria, Femi Falana, accused Donald Trump of lying to the world over allegations of Christian genocide in Nigeria while speaking on live television. The human rights lawyer strongly rejected Trump's claims, stating that Trump lied without any evidence to back it up. Let's take a look.
Now, I'm going to look at the problems from the human rights perspective, not a diplomat. And my own position is that Mr. Trump has lied to the whole world by alleging Christian genocide in Nigeria. So it's a lie without any evidence to back it up. Now, he said about 3,100 people have been killed, Christians have been killed in Nigeria. It's unfortunate and nobody can support even the killing of a citizen of this country.
Well, Falana now joins other prominent figures to reject the genocide narrative. Before I come to you, I'll take this. Well, on February 14th, 2024, Bishop Wilfred Chikpa Anaigbe of the Catholic Diocese of Makurdi made serious allegations before the United States Congress alleging systematic killings of Christians farming communities in Benue State, claiming that over 1,000 Christians had been killed, over 160 churches destroyed, and large swaths of land seized in the past decade. The bishop also testified on March 12, 2025, before the U.S. House Foreign Affairs Subcommittee on Africa, accompanied by Reverend Father Remigius Iluha. Let's take a look.
Constitutionally, we are a secularist country, but our unity has been fragile. Political and religious actions and even public speech have been carefully managed to avoid accusations of religious bias. A long-term Islamic agenda to homogenize the population has been implemented over several presidencies through a strategy to reduce and eventually eliminate the Christian identity of half of the population. The quest to Islamize the land appears high on the agenda of some of the powerful and influential Muslims in Nigeria. There is a campaign to take land to spread Islam, and there is the hemorrhaging of Christian farmers from the central region of Nigeria and Benue State, and Makurdi Diocese in particular, as they are forced to abandon fertile lands that used to feed the nation, which classify Benue as the food basket of the nation. Militant Fulani herdsmen are terrorists destroying society. They steal and vandalize, they kill and boast about it. They kidnap and rape, and they enjoy total impunity from the elected authorities. None of them have been arrested and brought to justice. This is supported by the corrupt system in which we operate and the abject poverty among us, which allow the criminals to easily attract more recruits and prey on more victims. At the end of 2024, several villages were warned by the attackers of the upcoming violence, and the leaders called the police for defense ahead of time. But they did not come, and the Christian massacres, almost customary, took place, killing hundreds in Plateau and Benue. The militant also burned down the 8 Catholic churches of St. Mary's Parish in the Diocese of Boko, and which in Benue State, as well as the parish house, clinics, schools, and other houses. We live in fear because at any point it can be our turn to be killed, but to remain silent is to die twice. So, I have chosen to speak. I speak on behalf of the millions who are in the camps. I speak on behalf of those whose loved ones have been killed, but no one has even offered a word of consolation to them. I speak on behalf of the thousands of young girls who have been adopted and raped because no one, not even the media, mentions them anymore. Foremost, I speak on behalf of my flock who are unable to worship freely and unable to return to their ancestral farms and homes because that land has been ruthlessly taken from them by the armed herdsmen. I request and I plead, I ask you to redesignate Nigeria as a country of particular concern.
The bishop there requesting for Nigeria to be redesignated as a country of particular concern. Well, the bishop's testimony highlights the deep contested narrative around religious violence in Nigeria. While the bishop presents specific allegations of systematic targeting, government officials maintain that terrorism affects all Nigerians regardless of faith. This leaves international observers to navigate the competing accounts of Nigeria's complex security challenges. And Rufai, so we've seen the bishop here and, other senators in America and, journalists across the globe submitting these sort of reports of what the bishop had described as a cleansing of Christians in the farmlands in his area. You heard him cry out. And we've seen these reports reverberate across the world right now after Trump's singular tweet. Your thoughts? People have said, Trump didn't have evidence. Trump doesn't have information. But we don't have the information that the U.S. Department of State has at this moment.
Oji, God bless you for playing that tape. But you see, after playing that tape, I will still tell you that what that priest did report is still underreporting, because many of the cases are not reported. I read out a message about a vicar in Kaduna today, 600 million being asked. Many cases like that. But Oji, because I know the country I am from, I keep saying, let us stop the killings. Because the country I am from has now changed the conversation about Christians and Muslims, which is never the case. The point is, how will people commit crime and the state does not bring them down? And please, we should never fall into that confusion, because it's that kind of confusion the political actors want. In all of this, none of them have come out to say, these are the advised steps we are going to take to stop the killings. The conversation has been, call Trump a liar, make a case that others too are being killed. But does it stop the killing of people?
No.
It doesn't.
No.
So please, the charge for the Nigerian government today, and the charge for everybody, Christians and Muslims and Shakmono worshippers and Ifa worshippers, we should all be united. We are all Nigerians.
All right.
The question is, how can we stop this killing?
Right.
The government should be charged to stop this killing.
Right.
If they're going to employ more military, if they're going to employ more security architecture, stop the killing. That's all we want.
That's the main point. And it is quite, it was good to see the federal government engage with journalists yesterday during that press conference. And I believe that the minister is saying that Nigeria is willing to collaborate, which is the main point that I keep stressing here, with, the United States to tackle this menace. Meanwhile, the Department of State Services, in a statement on Tuesday, said that it is prosecuting several high-profile terrorism suspects with multiple ongoing trials before Justice Emeka Nwite of the Federal High Court in Abuja, who has granted the DSS's request for an accelerated hearing in some cases. Among the key trials are internationally wanted suspect Mahmoud Usman, the self-styled Emir of Ansaru, and Abubakar Abba, his deputy, are facing a 32-count terrorism charge, with Usman already sentenced to 15 years for an illegal mining count after pleading guilty, while Abba remains a not guilty plea. Their trial is set to continue on November 19th. The secret police also highlighted the trial of Khalid al-Barwani and 4 others accused of masterminding the 2011 UN complex bombing, a case previously delayed by procedural issues. Additionally, 5 suspects involved in the June 2022 All-War Catholic Church attack, in which over 40 people died, are standing trial on a 9-count charge and were denied bail by Justice Nwite due to the capital nature of the alleged offenses and strong evidence of their membership in the Al-Shabaab terrorist group. Lastly, the DSS stated that it filed 6 separate terrorism-related charges against 9 suspects, including 2 at large connected to the June 2025 Yelwata massacre in Benue State, while 2 others are being tried for alleged reprisal attacks. And I'll take a statement from the DSS chief. He wrote, "The various arrests and trials of terrorism suspects show that Nigeria's security agencies have been diligent in dealing with the perpetrators of terror in the country. The men we are prosecuting are separate from hundreds of suspects under the military's protective custody, whose cases are being handled by the Office of the Attorney General of the Federation. In July last year, 125 of the terrorists were convicted. We shall continue to make the suspects accountable for disrupting the peace of our country in consonance with the rule of law." Vimbai, I'll take your comment instead of taking this tweet so that we'll have time to discuss. But I think that it is great to see the federal government, the secret police, highlight these terrorists that have been convicted. I mean, when I was reading some of the reports, I was wondering, how many terrorist groups do we have? Al-Shabaab, Lakwawewa, Boko Haram, Ansaru. All of these are the menace, the insecurity that we're dealing with in Nigeria. Well, kudos to the DSS.
Absolutely. And we shan't glorify them by, giving them, these names and honoring them by calling out their names, because they're wicked and evil people. However, I think it's important for us to congratulate and to commend the DSS, because we've seen that this particular administration of the DSS have been very consistent with regards to prosecution. And this is what we've been crying for. This is what we've been clamoring for, is that we hear that, oh, some people have been caught, they've been arrested, and then we never hear the finality of it. We never see the convictions. We want to see more images of this, like this, where there are convictions and we know that, okay, this is the sentencing and so forth. And also we want to see a lot more consistency with regards to how we handle these cases of terrorism and banditry, because, in the past we've had conflicting narratives around how we handle terrorists. Oh, are they supposed to be, reintroduced, repent and reintroduced into society? Are they supposed, so no more kid gloves. Let them be arrested, let them be.
Have you ever bought something online and it went wrong? Well,
deal with this decisively and conclusively. And again, I really applaud this, shall I call it a new wave of transparency? Because earlier in the morning, I spoke about the trust deficit. The trust deficit, trust has been totally eroded. Very few people believe, when they hear that some suspects have been arrested and so forth, a lot of people no longer have faith in the system. So if we can see the continued and sustained communication, can see the continued and sustained following through, we as the media, we always do our part. If you give us the information, or if we dig up the information, we always report it. But we want to see more coming from the authorities. So congratulations, or let me commend rather the DSS. And the DG, Mr. Ajayi. And I hope that we can see more of this coming from the other security apparatus as well, and from the federal government, because this is it. Tackle the problem. All the other thing is just, embellishing as far as I'm concerned. Just tackle. We want to see terrorists have been dealt with.
Yes, I look forward to the collaboration. Like I said, Ted Cruz in my other tweet said that he's willing and ready to name the government officials that are complicit in this terrorism, and which is really the beginning of tackling the menace, those who are funding the terrorists. We need to get them arrested.
Sorry, Oji,
well, meanwhile,
yes, in less than one sentence, what we also want to see is the beginning of people in IDP camps going home.
Going home, I like that. Beginning of people at the IDP camps going. Nigerians shouldn't be living in IDP camps. Well, meanwhile, in their own country. Meanwhile, in the wake of China's disapproval of Trump's threat of military action in Nigeria as part of, efforts to protect Christians from persecution, a 2023 report by British newspaper The Times alleged that Chinese nationals in Nigeria's mining sector are funding terrorist groups to secure access to the country's mineral reserves. The exclusive investigation, which has resurfaced online, suggests that through bribes and illegal transactions, Beijing could be indirectly funding terror in Nigeria. Well, according to research from SBM Intelligence, a Lagos-based analytical group, Chinese companies operating in conflict zones have been striking security deals with insurgents. The report revealed videos of militant leaders boasting that Chinese workers must pay them rent to operate in their territories, particularly in Zamfara and other northwestern states. Some Chinese nationals working informally as miners serve as runners for militant groups and control gold mining operations across remote areas. The report noted that Chinese contractors often smuggle minerals out illegally, with several arrests recorded, including 27 miners in Osun State in 2020 and a Chinese citizen jailed for 5 years in October for processing 25 tons of lithium-containing minerals. Well, this investigative report adds another complex international dimension to Nigeria's security crisis. The report highlights the menace of resource exploitation, raising questions about which foreign actors are truly destabilizing Nigeria and why. Senator Adams Oshiomhole also accused China of stealing Nigeria's resources and arming bandits and terrorist groups to protect their illegal mining sites. The former Edo State governor made the allegations in January this year. Let's take a look.
Involved in this illegal mining, they use choppers. They procure arms exactly the same way as our military were doing in the South. They give them arms, they use choppers to come and cut away the gold, and they take them out of this country. and make billions of US dollars. And the federal government is not doing what it should be doing. I took this letter to the former president when I was national chairman of APC. And I said, call the general to give you more brief. In fact, what is happening or what subsequently happened in that part of the country was exactly what the general told me was going to happen. Because these guys have been weaponized by the illegal big men who deploy them, secure territories, and the weapon is meant to protect the Chinese and other foreigners who they actually employ to carry out the mining. And on occasion, they use the same weapon to carry out banditry, kidnapping, and all of the terrible things that are going on. Some retired military officers, army officers are involved in it. The day we can't tell the truth, this country cannot flourish. We can't change our, when it affects our people, we are at our best. We talk strong. Some other people appear to be above the law. That is what is going on with solid mineral. It is not that we don't know where it is. We have a whole survey of where we have what across the length and breadth of Nigeria.
All right, Ayo Adams Oshomole's statement highlights what many see as hypocrisy in China's position on Nigeria's security crisis, while Beijing has criticized Trump's intervention threats. Allegations suggest Chinese mining operations may be directly contributing to the violence by funding and arming the very groups terrorizing Nigerian communities. Ayo, we've seen these reports.
So there's so many dimensions to this story, and it ties in with all that we have discussed earlier today. Number one is that yesterday we had said to be cautious about praising China's speaking up for Nigeria against the Trump's announcements and designation of Nigeria as a country of particular concern. At the end of the day, as has been mentioned, no one has the interest of Nigeria, or no country is altruistic in their interventions or diplomatic conversations with a nation. It's always country first. If only Nigeria too, in playing in this table, can put country first. I say this because, Oji, it's not for a lack of intelligence.